Hard work pays off. Doing C. Hi, my name is Faizullah Musleh, and today we are going to talk about types of sentence according to the structure. We have 4 types of sentence according to the structure in English language. They are simple sentence, compound sentence, complex sentence, and compound complex sentence. Now, let's start with simple sentence. What's a simple sentence? One independent clause is a simple sentence. One independent clause. Now, what's an independent clause? A clause with subject and verb and complete meaning is independent clause. It's not dependent on any other clause to make meaning or to give a complete meaning. So, if I say, I go to university every day. I go to university every day. This is one independent clause because it doesn't need any other clause to give a complete meaning. It has a complete meaning. It has a subject, verb, and the rest of the sentence, and it has a complete meaning. I go to university every day. Or, she doesn't work hard. She doesn't work hard. This is another example. My brother and sister study abroad. My brother and sister study abroad. Now, sometimes we can have 2 subjects in a sentence, in a simple sentence, and it's possible, and it's okay. My brother and sister study abroad. This is another example, and some more examples. For example, I'm an English teacher. I'm an English teacher. Or, this is a whiteboard. This is a whiteboard. Or another example for this is you are students. You are students. This is another example for a simple sentence, one independent clause. It has a complete meaning. Now we have a compound sentence too. Now what's a compound sentence and how can we make compound sentence? Now, 2 or more independent clause. Remember, in compound sentence, we also do not have dependent clauses. We only have independent clauses. Now, 2 or more sentence joined by coordinating conjunction. Okay, coordinating conjunctions, there are a lot of them. But the most important and common ones are for, and, yet, so, or, but, and some others. And it has no dependent clause in it. I told you before. It has no dependent clause in it. It's only independent, 2 or more independent clauses. Like, he asked me and I told him the truth. He asked me. He asked me, this is one clause, independent, he asked me. And I told her the truth. I told him the truth. I told him the truth. 2 independent clauses. This part also has a complete meaning without needing or without need to this part. And this part also has a complete meaning. So this is together they are called compound sentence. Why? Because there are 2 sentences. Now 2 sentences are compound sentence. Like here, compound subject. 2 subjects are compound sentence. Zia watches TV, but Sana studies her lessons. Zia watches TV, but Sana studies her lessons. If I say Sana studies her lessons, this is a complete sentence. And Zia watches TV, this is also a complete independent clause. It doesn't need another clause to complete its meaning. It has complete already. She has to work for she has a family to feed. She has to work for she has a family to feed. If I say she has to work, it's okay, complete sentence. She has a family to feed. So this is another sentence. And remember, if you use a comma before coordinating conjunctions, your English will sound more stronger. Omid was sick, so he went to see a doctor. Umaid was sick, so he went to see a doctor. Umaid was sick. This is one independent clause, and so he went to see a doctor, another independent clause. Either you must study or you have to bear a hard life. Either you must study or you have to bear. Bear here means tolerate. Okay, to tolerate a hard life. Now these are all examples for compound sentence. I hope you learned simple and compound sentence. Now we will talk about complex and compound complex sentence in the next board. Okay, dear friends, because you should understand this completely, so I wrote only complex sentence here with a lot of examples so that you understand it better. Now the definition for complex sentence is that it has one independent clause and at least one dependent clause. Now in complex sentence there should be a dependent clause in it because it's complex sentence, and it is joined by subordinating conjunctions. Now subordinating conjunctions, some of them are after, before, although, since, because, if, when. With these things it is joined with these conjunctions. And the examples are: if I had a chance, I would have studied abroad. If I had a chance, I would have studied abroad. Now this is a sentence completely together. It's a sentence. If I had a chance, I would study abroad. This is a complete sentence, but it's a complex sentence. Why it's a complex sentence? Because there is dependent clause in it. Okay, if I only say if I had a chance, so what would you do? You will be wondering what's the next part, what's the result of this. If I had a chance, what would I have done? If I had a chance, I would have studied abroad. Or before you go to bed, now what should I do before I go to bed? Before you go to bed, drink a glass of milk. This is a complete sentence together. Without that, it's not a complete sentence. Okay? If before you go to bed, a person will be wondering, what should I do before I go to bed? Now, together, if you say, before you go to bed, drink a glass of milk, this is a complete sentence. Ali was killed when he came to London. Ali was killed when he came to London. Although Umar wrote a book, he couldn't sell it. I will continue my higher education after I finish school. Zia lost his cell phone because he was careless. Zia lost his cell phone. He did not pay attention. What was he doing? So he lost his cell phone. Zia lost his cell phone because he was sick. Now one thing to remember about complex sentence, because it is joined by two clauses. There is one independent and one dependent clause. Now when we join these, remember that we should use a comma if the sentence is started with dependent clause. Okay? With dependent clause, when a sentence starts with a dependent clause, we should use a comma after dependent clause. If I had a chance, comma, I would have studied abroad. Now, before you go to bed, because it is dependent clause, we should use comma. Ali was killed. See, there is no comma. Ali was killed when he came to London. Why we don't have comma here? Because the sentence is started with independent clause. Although Omar wrote a book, see there is a comma. Why? Because the sentence is started with subordinating conjunction, and this is the sentence is started with a dependent clause. Okay, and see here, I will continue my higher education after I finish school. Now here we do not use comma. Why? Because the sentence is started with independent clause. And Zia lost his cell phone because he was careless. Zia lost his cell phone because he was careless. Now, we don't have comma here too. But if I say because he was careless, Zia lost his cell phone. Because he was careless, then I should use, or I have to use a comma, then Zia lost his cell phone. Okay? Because he was careless, comma, Zia lost his cell phone. But if I write it this way, Zia lost his cell phone because he was careless, we do not need a comma after independent clause. Okay, dear friends, now compound complex sentence. What's compound complex sentence? And the definition says one or more dependent clauses and at least two independent clauses. One or more dependent clause and at least two independent clauses. Now in compound sentence, at least there should be two independent clauses and one dependent clause. I bought a computer and Ali bought an English book. I bought a computer and Ali bought an English book because he wants to be a teacher, or maybe English teacher. Now he got a book and to study and to be more productive. I bought a computer. This is one independent clause. And Ali bought an English book. This is another independent clause. But because he wants to be a teacher is a dependent clause here. Now together they are compound complex sentence. Or Sana went to the market and I went home where I feel happy. Sana went to the market and I went home where I feel happy. Now there are two independent clauses and one dependent clause in the sentence. Omar likes football and I like cricket. Omar likes football and I like cricket because it's more fun to watch. Because it's more fun to watch. Cricket is more fun to watch. Since we started learning English, see there is a comma. We are more intelligent and also we can talk in it, or we can talk in English. Now, in compound complex sentence, also if the sentence starts with a dependent clause, we use a comma. Since we started learning English, we are more intelligent and we can also talk in English. These are the examples for compound complex sentence. Now remember to use two independent clauses at least and one or more dependent clause. In this compound complex sentence, we mostly use a lot of dependent and independent clause. But these sentences are for those people who wants to write books. Mostly in daily life we use simple, compound, and sometimes sometimes complex sentence. These compound complex sentence, or these are high level sentences which is mostly used in writing books. Okay, dear friends, thank you for watching. I hope you learned something and try to share this video with your friends so that they can also learn. And if you're new here in this channel, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more English lessons. Thank you. Have a nice time. Bye.